Well, shopping season is here and more people than ever are expected to shop for supplies both in person and online. Financial professional Tim Kulhonik from Stonebridge Insurance and Wealth Management joining us now with tips on how to head back to school without breaking the bank. Tim, thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So why are we expecting this spending rush?
Yeah, we're looking at it, and after such a tough year last year, where kids, a lot of them were staying home and doing Zoom classes, there wasn't near as much, and plus we were kind of in a lockdown situation. There wasn't near as much traffic as far as retail spending goes, and so this year, according to CNBC, they're expecting an increase on sales on clothes, for example, during back to school of about 78% compared to last year. And 11% compared to 2019. So we're starting to see, my wife's a teacher, for example, and as soon as we get past the 4th of July, you start seeing the back to school signs in the stores around town. And we're starting to see that traffic pick up pretty quickly right now.
And what kind of supplies are breaking the bank this year?
Yeah, it's across the board, whether it's spending on the latest gadgets. So electronics, for example, according to a report from Reuters, is supposed to rise about 13% this year compared to last year. After what we experienced last year with all the technology that we realized we couldn't live without, folks are making sure that they have those items, at home available should the situation rise where they have to use them again from home and they can't be in the classroom. The reality is we've got to make sure when we're looking at this from a financial planning perspective that we're making good decisions with our money. So, the thing I want to make sure that everyone out there is understanding is you've got to make sure before you head out to the store, my recommendation is to make sure you're making a list, make a budget for what you're going to spend the money on, how much you can allocate. Trying not to put money on a credit card. I know you want to go out and provide the things for your kids, make sure they have all the supplies, whether it's the latest gadgets or the trendier clothes that they want to be able to wear. But there's got to be a limit because the reality is there's only so much money in the bank available for these types of things. And what we don't want to be doing is deficit spending and adding a bunch of debt because, again, we learned last year that the economy can change quickly. While things seem to be going a lot better right now than they were in March of 2020, we never know what the future holds. So we got to make sure that we're being smart about how we're allocating those dollars, how many gadgets we're putting money towards.
And what else should families be considering looking out for during this back to school season?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, again, stick to a spending plan. Realize that now is a good time to be teaching your children, teaching your students about money, budgeting. I learned growing up, there's not a lot of classes, at least when I was growing up, there's not a lot of classes that teach about personal finance. This is a perfect time to be teaching about personal finance, helping kids understand, hey, if you want some of those more expensive items, if you want the trendier clothes, if you want the more brand name types of devices, that's great. There's a way you can go about earning that, and whether that's doing more chores around the house, understanding that we as a family, we're not going to overspend on these types of things because if we do run up a bunch of credit card debt, the interest we pay, if we're paying 20%, the interest we pay could end up being more than what the actual item costs.
A lot to look out for this school year. Tim Kulhonik, thank you so much for joining us and for the back to school tips.
My pleasure. Absolutely. Anytime.